Oh, and welcome back to We Are Tottenham TV. It's your boy Ashmatic and your boy Marlon from Spurs Kings TV for the match reaction to Tottenham Hotspur 0, Nottingham Forest 3 at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in what everybody was calling a 6-pointer, and Spurs have lost it. The only consolation to today is that West Ham have lost, and they lost to Aston Villa 2-0. However, let's deep dive into the reaction of this game, because in the first half, let's talk about the first half. If you looked at that first half as a Spurs fan, it was like you had a positive head on it.
Look, it started even from before the first half. I mean, going into the game, it was a massive turnout. As you said, it was a cup final. That's how the fans were treating it. And they felt they did their part. There was lots of songs going on into it. We came on. And then the team was announced, wasn't it? The team sheet was announced, and people had question marks. Xavi, after scoring 2 goals, didn't start. He started to include Solanke up top. People were questioning if it was a 3-4-3 or a 4-3-2-1 or a 4-4-2. And obviously, that first half, as you said, did start. Forest, I think, started the stronger of the two, if I'm being totally honest.
Yeah, we did say that.
And it was a bit off. The crowd was a bit off at the start, I think. And then eventually it broke to us, and then things were swinging in our way. Yeah. So that's how it looked for me in that first opening passage, that first 10 minutes. But then, obviously, we got a few chances, and Richarlison was, I think he was the main character in terms of like where things were heading at.
He did get the chances in that first half.
Yeah, he was the one that got the main chances, and then I think on top of that, it was Tell that was providing the crosses. Yeah. Whether that be an open play or on corners, he was the one that was asking the most questions. And yeah, out of the two teams, I felt, if I want to summarise quickly that first half, you would have thought that, we would be the more positive. However, before that happened, before the half ended, they got a set piece against the run of play, and they ended up scoring a goal.
If I remember correctly, the stats in the first half were 3 shots from us, all off target. Mm-hmm. They had 1 and scored the 1. If I remember correctly, that was the stats.
It was weird because we had hit the crossbar.
Yep.
Through Richarlison, and then Tell also had a chance when he shot outside from the box. Keeper got a hand to it. Sells.
Great save.
That should really count as a shot on target, but they don't count those as a shot as a target because it hits the woodwork. Yeah. So it's I kind of hear what like the stats are saying, but it's just a funny stat. But yeah, on the face of it, if you take the stats away for a second, from what I was seeing, Archie Gray was doing well in terms of switching the play. I thought.
On the ball,
yeah, on the ball, he was like, dictating from deep, I'd say. But on the other hand, I'd say we were playing a lot towards the left-hand side. It was a lot but then we would switch it onto the right and there'd be a lot of space. The problem was there wasn't enough crosses coming from that right-hand side. As we know, Porro's not really a winger or a wide player like that, but he's good at delivering. But we didn't see too much in the way of delivery from him. Spence, obviously, he put a nice little ball into Richarlison's path, which went down the side, and Richarlison played it across the box, and Solanke just missed it, but it was offside, so we can't really count that as a chance. But that was the first half. I've missed a few other bits where Van der Ven, obviously, he went charging down one side, picked up a knock, and then that eventually, what happened with Van der Ven. Also, Archie Gray picked up a knock as well.
Yeah, I thought he'd come off a lot earlier.
And we were calling for him to come off, but, we've kept him on for whatever reason.
I just hope we don't. Because, look, if we look at today's game, and I'm not Archie Gray's biggest fan, but if you look at that first half, it was Sarr was getting tackles in, Gray was getting tackles in.
Yeah.
The play was fluid. It looked positive. We looked like we were going to do something. And then they scored the sucker punch. It was the sucker punch. But as soon as that goal happened, we said, stay calm. And the first thing Porro goes and does is try and do a ball that he's never played in his life. And it kind of no, he needs to get him in at half time and go, don't worry about it. Let's keep doing what we're doing. But we are where we are, aren't we? Because
we go into that second half.
And he makes two
substitutions.
if they're not injuries, then he is messed up royally. If they're not injuries, he's messed up.
He's actually done this before, where he's gone from a back three into a flat back four before in games. I think he did it for Atletico as well, where we started with a kind of like a back three and then we went to a back four and tried to change it.
The issue is though is that I think it was a 4 anyway.
Yeah, it
in
was
that first half because
it was a 4-4-2.
It was playing left back and
yeah.
But he's then got taken off, and defense didn't look like they were getting hit.
No,
if that makes sense.
No.
So it was a strange decision.
But I think that first goal in that going in gave them more confidence, and therefore they had the momentum because they were knocking the ball about, and they weren't causing us any trouble. And I was like, I'm happy for them to have the ball around in these certain areas. But the point was that I think it was Hudson-Odoi started going out wide, and then Hutchison as well started picking up the balls in wide areas because they realised that's where the space was, because Spence wasn't really closing them down in that area, and then neither was a doggy really. Do you know what I mean? And I think what was frustrating for us was because when we did have the ball, neither Spence or doggy had end product. Do you know what I mean? And that was frustrating because we're like, they get into the right areas, but then what's the point if you're not going to deliver an important cross or make the right cutback to a player that's in the right position?
And it was decision making because I think as soon as Doggy came on in that second half, he got in such a great position and gives it straight to a Forest player. And you're like, these are the stupid decisions that we make, that our players are making. And it's coming to bite us in the arse at the moment. And that's the biggest issue, is that we're not making the right decisions in the right areas.
Well, it's to do with Bergvall. Like, remember we were talking about where's Bergvall playing, because we brought Bergvall on.
Weird substitution, the Bergvall one.
And Bergvall didn't hold the width. It was Porro that was holding the width.
You know what it felt like? Fulham all over again.
Yeah.
It felt like he went in that second half, I've got to play how we did against Fulham, and we kind of just petered out against Fulham.
Yeah. Bergvall was playing in between, I think, Richarlison and Solanke higher up. He was playing in that kind of pocket where he was like attacking mid.
Out of the two forwards today, I was very surprised that it was Richarlison that came off because Solanke was poor.
Yeah, out of the two, I think Richarlison was more of the threat. So that substitution was a poor one by Tudor.
Yep, very.
And I think that kind of was a big impact on the game.
Yep, that makes the next impact of the game. And because look, then Forest go and score the second.
Yeah.
We'd given up. I think me and you had given up.
Yeah,
I don't think we'd even started to talk about everything else apart from the game. But when you look at the balance of that second half, that second goal was coming, wasn't it? Because I said to you, the way the game's going, they're going to score a second.
Yeah.
I could see it coming. Yeah. Like, please don't jinx it.
Yeah.
Well, I was doing the opposite. I jinxed it, but in the sense of...
It's crazy. Let's talk about that, because in the build-up to that, remember, Romero gets on the ball and he starts to like carry it forward a lot more, and he starts doing things where no one else is doing it, so I'm going to do it. He's that type of mentality. He plays his heart on his sleeves, pure emotion. And to be fair to him, he does well in that area. He actually does well. But then they win the ball back and they punt it up the pitch. And then I remember the commentator said, I remember you saying Archie Gray's covering him, and he took a while to get back. Yeah. And then a few moments later, because that wasn't the direct impact of the goal, but a few moments later, I remember the ball comes back to us. They get the ball back. Their keeper just goes long, and it bypasses our midfield completely. Yeah. Goes out wide. I think they get like a little flick on, a little knock on. And then when the ball eventually does go out wide, I think it's Saar that's in the fullback position. And then that's when they whip the cross in. The cross goes in. And no. Yeah, so no, the ball goes to the byline, then the ball's cut back, because the cutback, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was cutback.
There's a cutback, and then
Saar tries to go to the player at the front post, which I think he shouldn't have done.
Yeah,
Leaves Gibbs White.
That's right.
The freedom of Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
All by himself, and I could just see it. It looked like it was going in slow motion, because when he hits the ball, he doesn't even get a proper good shot on.
No, and then that just what makes impact. It makes things worse in that sense, because he doesn't even get a great thing. And
let's talk about it. Let's talk about
Vicario.
Do you think it was a mistake to start Vicario, knowing the injury that he has? Because those type of shots there, do you think...
You've got to put it like this. This injury's not been just for today. This is injury for weeks.
Yeah, I know. But then the club knew that, and they still decided to persist with him playing. And maybe that's the reason why he concedes goals like this. But again, he's been conceding terrible goals all season. So,
quick the chat before I lose, because I keep losing them on this screen. It says, for fuck's sake, that was pathetic. Tudor has to go, surely. We'll talk about that in a minute. But Yeah, so Vicario, go back to Vicario. Yeah. For me, it goes back to Lange's statement in January about we're going to get players back, we got this, we got that, and they didn't sign. They signed 2 players, which was Conor Gallagher and Sousa.
Yeah.
We needed a left back. Okay? Yeah. So fair play, we needed a left back. As a lot of people have highlighted, Conor Gallagher wasn't the right profile.
It's not what we needed.
Not what we needed. So you've then got a goalkeeper that comes up, plays against Atletico Madrid, and you have to take him off after 15 minutes. Personally, if I would have probably said, okay, everyone knows about this injury now. If you start Kingsley today, it's not on you.
Yeah.
Everyone knows it's an injury.
Yeah.
But you're starting him. You're now delaying his operation to now. So he'll go and have that tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay, are they expecting him to be back in 3 weeks?
Yeah. Yeah, probably. I think that's probably the idea and the thought process behind it.
Problem is, everything that goes on with Tottenham and injuries,
he won't be back in 3 weeks.
He won't be back in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So you probably are half correct. They probably should have just started Kingsley. And I think not the fact that any of these goals don't happen without Kingsley. There's other issues that would have happened.
Yeah.
But you get to a point where you just go, the people can start looking at the club going, you've left no matter Frank and you've left Tudor well short of players thinking they're all going to come back, because the players that have come back today have literally cost us the game.
It's funny, like after that goal, Tell obviously comes off injured, but we were questioning him, is it really an injury or does he just want to come off? Because, you know, the game's not going as well. He was one of the bright sparks.
But this is it, bright sparks, and this is the problem that we're having with bright sparks. Are they actually good enough?
No, we know they're not. That's not what we're talking about here. Because I said there was a lot of people in my WhatsApp group, they were for Tell, and they actually did a poll, and I was the only one that said, I don't think Tell is going to be good enough for what we need. And this was at the start of the season. And everyone was like, no, when Tell gets a chance, Obviously, he hadn't had a chance at the start of the season. Frank didn't fancy him because I think Tell wanted to play as a centre forward. Do you know what I mean? But obviously, there's no space up top, so they've played him off the left. Odeberg was playing there, but he got injured. So now Tell's had his chance. And I think for me, Tell, when he's in those forward areas, he's not clinical because he doesn't know what shot selection to choose, in my opinion. Yeah. And that comes with time. You know when to shoot, like, or when to square it, and what shot to do. Like, if you need to go laces, go valve, inside, instep, etc. Take a touch. Is it 2 touches and then shoot, or is it 1 touch and shoot? Like, these little details, they're going to come to you. And, like, to be fair to him in this game, he does well in beating his man. He's done it a couple of times. He's beaten his man. He's put, as I said before, Sangare, Aina, on his bum. He's created space, he's created separation. It's that final piece he hasn't got. Now, we know we were missing a left-sided player. We know we needed a left winger to come in so that Tell wouldn't be the main guy, you know what I'm saying? He would be coming off the bench and possibly, like, supplementing the squad rather being the main guy. Because you said it ages ago, Tell is the Son replacement. Yeah. You said it. And for me, that should be enough for everyone to be with pitchforks and burning knives, whatever you want to call it, outside of Enix offices, wherever that may be. Do you know what I mean? I honestly think that's unacceptable. Like, not replacing Son and not having a left foot, because we've lost a lot of goals. We haven't had Kudos on the right-hand side, and he wasn't really a goal threat like that anyway. But equally, we've lost goal threat for the left because the Premier League's changed, in my opinion. It's no longer you rely on your number 9 to get you 20-plus goals. Do you know what I mean?
Because you don't have a Harry Kane, though.
You don't know, but even outside of that, look how many strikers there are. There's Haaland and Isak. Maybe Watkins. But I'm saying in general for the Premier League, it's more the forward line. So you look towards your front 3 to get the goals, isn't it? Not just your number 9. Back in the day, it was, you get your 2 wingers, they cross it into the box, and your number 9 gets all the goals, so he needs service. But nowadays, we play with forwards, and it's the forwards that need to contribute, and the midfield as well. And the thing is, the problem with the midfield is, again, you've got Archie Gray, you've got Bergvall, you've got Sarr, you've got 3 players that aren't adding goals to the team. Do you know what I mean? You bring a Conor Gallagher who's not been scoring goals for Atletico. I know he's been bit part Atletico, but he's not been scoring goals for Atletico.
He's not known for scoring.
And he's not known for scoring goals anyway. And we need goals, and that's what we've decided to bring in. So again, the bigger picture. But I digress because I want to go back to the game. That Archie Gray's obviously come off. As I said, Tel's come off because of the injury, whatever. Subs come on. We've had Conor Gallagher come on. We've had Moani come on and Xavi. And people are arguing that Xavi should have started. But Xavi's come on. He's not done much. Like, I can't really defend it. Do you know what I mean? Loads of people are saying, oh, you know, Xavi this, Xavi that. But he looks better in Europe because he gets more time and space on the ball. But he's a player that, for me, needs to learn how to absorb pressure, meaning when players are trying to tackle him, he can absorb their physicality, he can bounce off them. You've seen it with players like Morgan Gibbs-White. You see it with players like, what's that Villa player? Morgan Rogers. Yeah, when they've got the ball and they carry it, people will try to foul them, but they can take a hit and keep running and stay on their feet.
It's weird because all of those players we were linked with.
Yeah, I know, and obviously Xavi got because obviously Chelsea were looking at Garnacho, and so.
Rogers was last summer, do you remember?
Yeah.
And then Gibbs-White and Eze were obviously this summer. But we've got another super chat quickly. I continue to say the veteran players in this squad are a disgrace, who fouled Frank and will foul any manager we hire. The whole lot of them are rotten. We did have a super chat earlier from somebody, but there was nothing put in it. So again, I don't know who it was at the beginning. But yeah, just to let you know, we did see it, but there was nothing in it. Tudor. Sack him.
We're not going to talk about the third goal. Yeah, there's no point.
No point.
Yeah, Tudor.
Sack him.
Yeah, I mean, this was the game, wasn't it? Now they've got the whole international week, weeks.
FA Cup week.
Yeah. So they got a couple weekends, to kind of find a manager they think is going to solve this issue. Do you know what's funny? Like, before this game, I felt like I saw the Liverpool game. I was like, they're showing some fight. Maybe the players were brought into him. It just
goes back to my thing, doesn't it? The pressurised situation.
Yeah, there's pressure. It's the pressure, and is that down to the manager? How does he fix that? If the players,
not him.
Yeah, how does the player? Yeah, how does the man?
You can put your arm around those players as much as you want, and that's probably what's been happening. And they still are going to foul you because the club, and it's a club thing. This is what people don't understand sometimes, how a club is run and how the culture of the club
Yeah, definitely
seeps into what happens on
and Levy coming in, giving watches, and Levy coming in saying, oh, I've never seen a team so relaxed before.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
I've never seen relaxed before a final like this.
It seeps into the players.
Losers.
You think Manchester City and those big clubs have that mentality. They don't have the mentality. They literally have to change it. There's something has to change within the culture of the club.
Yeah, the leader, the top man driving it has to be like vicious, different, like hungry for winning, hungry for silverware, not hungry for top four. If you're hungry for top four, you're not going to win nothing.
Michael Roach has said, sticking with Frank got us relegated. I've missed that now. Directors, hold on.
Sticking with Frank got us relegated. Directors need to go.
Yeah.
$4.99. Big up Michael Roach /J4T.
So the last question I'm going to ask you before we wrap up this reaction: are we going to get relegated? And we'll ask every single one of our guests is going to get this question: are we going to get relegated?
I said yes before.
I'm not going to hold you.
Change it.
I'm not going to hold you. Like when it comes to the end of the season,
I can't change it. I wanted to flip flop. I said today we'll win, but even before that, I said it looks like we're going to relegate. And I saw that Palace game was that was the game I saw. I said, yeah, you know what, it doesn't look good. But even the Fulham game was for Tudor. But the Palace game was for us to whether we were going to stay up or not.
For me, Fulham. Remember, I came from that Fulham game and I said we're gone. I've not changed my mind since then. I've watched Liverpool. I've watched Atletico. I said we are gone. And these games after that haven't helped.
No,
they haven't helped me change that decision. But yeah, that's our match reaction. Please make sure you come over to Spurs Kings TV where you can hear a lot of Ash and less of me. I say that. But our link is in the description as we are. But let's get on to